the showrunners were super welcoming. Meredith Roberts and like our leadership over there has been so welcoming to like my like not at all secret gay agenda. And so like I feel like I felt like it was, I mean, like maybe it was that way in the past, but I guess like something must have happened in the last like they were turning it around, they're going hard. And then all that like momentum that I felt, like that sense of I don't have to be afraid to like, let's have these two characters kiss, let's in the background to start, like I was just wherever I could, just basically adding queerness to like if you see anything queer in the show, I'm proud of them. But like I just was like, no one would stop me and no one was trying to stop me.
Hey, you know, I often say the term get woke, go broke. I didn't invent it. I helped popularize it. Most people still say go woke, go broke, which is nowhere near as good as get woke, go broke, in my opinion. But perhaps I'm just partial. But new data, new polling data has shown a massive hit to Disney's favorability and Disney's long-term viability. And the number one reason that's been cited is their foray into politics, into indoctrination, into pushing woke ideology. We talked about this in many videos, in particular in this week. If you look at the last 10 Disney movies, in particular Pixar movies, you look at Dial of Destiny, the woke Indiana Jones movie, which lost $300 million. Pixar's Elemental lost 100 or 200 million. Haunted Mansion lost 100 million. These are huge sums of negative cash because, well, people are flat out sick of Disney getting political, getting too, well, I mean, for trying to take over their parents or be their kids' parents, I would guess. I don't really know how else to describe it. By the way, this video is sponsored by quarteringgold.com. Have you heard about this news? Have you heard about the digital dollar, for example? That's a better thing. Or the CBDC. It's really just nothing but a headline until recently. But right now, things are developing at a rapid pace. It started with sweeping executive order from the Biden administration, and now central banks are even hiring for their development. Here's the thing. A digital dollar can be used to track your purchases, control what you buy, and even seize or freeze your assets. That's why it's critical that you protect your money with precious metals like gold and silver. I've partnered with the top-rated precious metals company, Goldco, because they're a great company with an amazing reputation. Right now, they're giving you up to $10,000 in free silver while supplies last. Plus, all qualified callers this week will receive a free Ronald Reagan silver coin. There's a good enough reason just to contact them anyway. Don't wait until all your money's under Biden's control. Go to quarteringgold.com to learn how you can start today. That's quarteringgold.com. Exclusive, Disney's favorability plummets with conservatives after Snow White controversy. It was just the woke straw that broke the camel's back. Well, the whale's back, the investor's back. I'm not exactly sure how I would describe it, but this is one of the reasons, like, I don't understand why these companies, they go out of their way to alienate and divide their customers. Disney has failed to make any inroads with conservative Americans who turned on the entertainment giant over its woke politics, according to results from a new Rasmussen Reports survey previewed exclusively to the Daily Wire. Just over 60% of Republicans have an unfavorable opinion of Disney, including 35% who say it's very unfavorable. The survey conducted by Rasmussen in late September found the results are starkly divided by political identity. While among Republicans, only 32% have a favorable view and 61% have unfavorable view. For Democrats, the results are almost exactly the opposite. Gee, I wonder why that is. 61% of Democrats view Disney favorably and just 29% unfavorably. The polling indicates that Disney's woke politics have a real-time impact on its standing popularity. A March 2022 poll conducted as Disney was in the middle of a high-profile fight with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis found the company was in a similarly poor position. Republicans viewed Disney by a nearly identical margin, with 29% favorable, 64% unfavorable. Videos also emerged that month of a producer confessing that she pushes a, quote, not at all secret gay agenda through Disney's content, adding queerness to children's programming. And, people kind of didn't like that. I know that may seem weird, but yeah, people didn't like that. Disney's best polling performance, on the other hand, came earlier this year, March, when only 54% of Republicans viewed it unfavorably. Look, if you're in the business of selling things, you don't want anybody to view you unfavorably. Imagine being like, hey, it's cool. It's cool to like just have half of the country hate my company. That's just dumb. They brought back Bob Iger, who promised to, quote, quiet things down, but Iger had failed to steer Disney clear of politics. Disney embroiled itself in a viral controversy in August over comments made by the lead actress. It's in its remake of Snow White, Rachel Zegler, who called the classic love story extremely dated and labeled Snow White's prince as a guy who, quote, literally stalks her. Yeah, that did not go over very well at all. I just, I'm not surprised. But, it's what it is. If I'm going to stand there for 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I get to be paid for every hour that it's streamed online. I mean, yeah. It's just, they keep hiring these insufferable weirdos, and ain't nobody got time for that. I mean, that's what I would say about it. Ain't nobody got time for that. She's not going to be saved by a prince, and she's not going to be put dreaming about true love, the actress said, suggesting that it pained her to have to wear the dress of an iconic Disney princess. Disney was also highlighted this week by GLAAD for its inclusion of LGBTQ content in a whopping 41% of its films in 2022. Look, not all quote-unquote conservatives would view that inclusion of it. I think more quote-unquote conservative people who may be labeled as conservatives are more likely to say like, hey, whatever, but like don't preach it or don't try to like indoctrinate my kids. You can have, it often gets, I think many of my viewers agree with me on this. Now, some people are more hardlined. Okay, I understand that, especially if you have religious reasons for it. But I think if you look at, not offending the 75% of people, it would simply be like, hey, I don't care if there's a gay character, but give me some reason to pay you my money to see the movie. If the whole reason is, oh, it's the first time ever a non-binary dog was in a movie, give us money, it doesn't really work. And also, if that's all you have to say about your product, why should I even see it? Sure, have a non-binary dog in your movie, okay? Have some throwaway reference to it. But you've got to have it being actually a good movie. And if you want to like take it up to like 85% of people not being mad at you, then like just don't indoctrinate too. Like you can have the character, whatever, but it's not about like worshiping it. It's not about pushing it, especially by the way, in kids movies, generally. A Gallup poll released this week found that nearly 60% of Americans think companies should avoid politics, up from 52% last year. I mean, it's the whole reason I started Coffee Brand Coffee, right? It's why it's called Coffee Brand Coffee. It's because I don't want my customers to feel like they have to, share their politics with me. I just want to serve them the best possible coffee, tea, and cocoa. Pretty easy, right? Pretty easy rules to live by. The company's embrace of radical politics have been in the works for years. In 2019, Disney executives threatened to boycott the state of Georgia if it passed legislation on a woman's right to choose. In the past several years, companies have also signed a partnership with BLM. Hero Colin Kaepernick fired actress Gina Carano over conservative social media posts and infused liberalism into countless classic cartoons, including a, quote, exclusively gay moment in the remake of Beauty and the Beast. Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of a thing, right? Like, again, these people exist in the real world. They're allowed to exist in film, but most people just aren't having it. They're not they're just sick of it, and this is obviously a dovetailing story with the Disney stock absolutely collapsing. I don't know what it's like today at their theme parks, but I've read articles over the past 6 months or so that say they're the shortest waiting times. The wait times for rides at Disney right now are even shorter than they were during the lockdowns when they were first reopening after that. I mean, it's so stupid. I'll never understand why somebody would willingly torch their business like this and say, hey, the message is far more important than the customers that we've spent our entire life trying to gain. I mean, this is nuts. I mean, again, it goes on this other poll too, where, nearly 60% of Americans want big businesses to stay out of politics. New Gallup poll reveals 60% of Americans believe that companies should not take a public stance on social or political issues. Good. I'd be willing to bet you that is probably a higher percentage than most people think. I bet you it's higher than 60%. B to the dubs too. I bet you it's somewhere around 70% that don't want their companies to really have anything to say about woke politics or any of this stuff. I just want to go to your theme park and enjoy some escapism. I don't want to go to your theme park and have to see pride flags hanging over everything. I don't want to go to your theme park and have to see it's Latinx month. And for the record, I would not want to see any lame, it's White Heritage Month. I wouldn't want to see that either. I want to be transported out of reality. I don't want to have politics shoved in my face. And I think that most people would agree with that. I think that a lot of the quote unquote Democrats that agree with, these companies pushing these politics, it's simply because they agree with them or they think that that's what the answer that they should give. Like, oh yeah, they'd be like, do you agree with Disney pushing LGBTQ pride? And someone's like, well, I don't have any problem with the LGBTQ stuff, so sure. Companies have to stop this, or, well, they're going to keep learning, which I'm 100% fine with as well. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do leave a like and follow down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.